Hello. Good afternoon for everyone. Okay, so we are going to look about the software security in this module. Probably this is the last module of this module. So basically, we are going to look about the professional recommendations of the SANS and CWE of how to keep your software. Some materials that we use. So first thing is about software security is about the input. So what are the inputs, the data types that we give to the software? What format we are giving it? Sometimes incorrect input causes buffer overflow. It means like inserting more than the input that's required. That also results in problems and crashes. Input validation in terms of length, type, syntax. This is very important. So when we code applications or write softwares, we have to be very important that to allow only the correct data. So we have to minimize the chance of false data to be inputted in the applications. So in secure interactions, this is also one of the problem. So from the client machines to the servers, so whatever the interaction is taking place, right, code encoding or decoding is taking place from the server side or whatever the client side, we have to verify that. Server side authentications, this is also a fix that we can use proper encryptions, alright, in order to have the secure tunnel in between client and server. SQL injection is a problem that's directly related to application because SQL we are used to write the databases. So inserting things into the database or invalid data into the database that sometimes shows some invalid output. So if it's a hacker or an adversary, he will get some of the very sensitive data that he can use to misuse it. So this is some of the commands that I have just included here. Please don't misuse any of those. Then we have input sanitization, like viruses we sanitize. Like that, all the inputted we have to just sanitize and clean it before we got insert. The problem about the command injection to SQL. So this is the data and control the reversion of the problem in terms of the format, especially. Then avoid the OS command injection one. Okay, we can have a separate control information from the data information and use the library calls instead of external processes, or like run the code in jail. It means in a sandbox before we actually so this is the define of the sandbox one. So the jail definition means the OS impose resource limits on programs. It may include like OS input output bandwidth caps, capping bandwidth like that amount of data will be inputted. Like for example, 2 GB first, then process that, then we will allow for more. Like we can have some bandwidth that's to smoothen the process. But on the sandbox, it means it's current guarantees that an untrusted program it runs. So if it's a program is suspicious, it will look after the program until anything miscellaneous finds upon it. So external control of the critical data. This is also a common problem today, especially with the web servers. Like sometimes we used to save some sensitive data in cookies, and these cookies get been hijacked or it been compromised. Some configuration files are kept on external these config files are used to connect to database sometimes. So those are very risky things. And control the critical state data, understand all the locations that are accessible to attackers, and do not keep the state info on client without using the encryption and integrity check-in, and store the state info on server side only. ASP.NET especially do that very well. Then another problem is insecure interaction between components. So web servers are memoryless, they don't keep memory within them. Okay, they just try to not to remember not do not remember a sending form to a client. They don't know which client it is. So client side can remove the checks, insert the code, and for the unexpected one. So we are talking about web and the client. Then we have the cross-site scripting one. So maybe a reputable site, but has linked to some unknowingly disinterrupted sites. Alright, so these should run some Java scripts or VB scripts to get the inserted response, I mean the HTML responses from the user and redirect to them. So this look like a valid page, but it may show other things. Fix is preserve the web page secure structure first of all in those scenarios, or validate not only the input but other parts of HTTP input also we have to validate. Then we have the forgery one, like some person deliberately try to do a forge one. So like improper access control, for example, the authentication is not correct. So fix is the access permissions. Either user based access we can give the minimum access to a user, or verify access control on the server side, or keep the sensitive pages which are never cached and must have active authentication token, like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, just create a security tunnel and keep a token. Like that we keep on fixing it. So problem of incorrect access permissions. So we have database program on behind of that we have sales account and manufacturing. So like what permissions are used for what forms, it very clearly should know what forms are permissions. Then we have prevent forgeries, use nonce of each form, like create something called capture code or something. Sometimes we have the brute force or other application or botnets that can attack us. So use a capture code or verify the not predictable ones. Then we have problem about clear text transmit of sensitive information. Then we encrypt data with standard reliable information encrypt for the transmission. The problem is the race recognition. Race recognition actually comes mostly with the multi-thread application where we have two or three threads or processes running here and there, and we have a shared resource like the printer spool, which is the shared spot of many of the like other processes in the application. So fixes we can use synchronization. One of the very simple and good fixes that. Then the problem is the chatty error message, right? We cannot find this invalid password or login IDs. So fix this error message should avoid the file or network configuration name. Don't give the like the file name or anything. The sensitive data is in the error message. That's not correct. Then we have external control of the paths. Okay, like some other like downloadable or external file, we navigate to a URL or maybe try to execute it. Run as the lowest privileged user, right? Because in your admin login, even viruses can be happy and run here. The problem is adopting untrusted software. Sometimes softwares we uh, download from internet for free, those are untrusted software. Sometimes it shows. So it's be very careful because sniffers or other use these people kind of softwares. Okay. So that's also one of the very commonly seen thing. So this is just the finding the issues about the like variable contents of the issues, security to that with the path name of it. So those will be the informations. Okay. So the password will be like code hard coded. This is also very commonly seen because master password will be sometimes hard coded and we so more security errors. Okay, I'll ask you to read. So test all software before we release it. Okay, there are variable testing like some tools like fast testing that will look for the weaknesses of the application, or use automated static analysis tools, warning analysis tools, or create user manual test or UIT test, or run program under lower conditions like insufficient privilege and see how they. So definition mention of this. So whitelisting means a set of resources limits imposed on program by the operating systems. Blacklisting means use a time-sensitive mark to prevent the packet relay of that. Okay, so this is some of the terms that we are going to use in this. Like you can see, the jail is like set in the resource limits imposed on programs. Blacklist means reject or like suspend an input. Okay, you can see it like that. Questions for you to read and look about like a third party insert the attack data into another organization HTML response. So this is known as the which one? What do you think? I think cross-site scripting is the correct answer. So What technique would not be appropriate in avoiding the OS command? Use a hardcode password to enable access. That's also a sensitive one, but hardcode in the password is very bad. Which of the following is true concerning the web servers? Using client as storage is safe if encryption and integrity checking. What's the best way to ensure the input validity is the client? Of course, whitelisting. Best implementation of access control. Always use minimum possible permissions. For SQL injection is best protected against by using sanitizations. The main way to avoid replay between a client and server. An attack that could cause the most import or most problem includes hard-coded password. The best way to ensure that no message modifier occurs is called the hashing. All of the following except which answer can result in invalid data and breaking. Race conditions. Okay, intellect probe. So before I conclude today's lecture, I'd like to look at software as a IP, intellectual property. So intellectual properties can be a historical text, social context, or any proponents or opponents that been like any technical characteristics, or it can be drawing or anything that people creates by their own creativity. So intellectual property is something unique that you actually create. An idea alone is not intrinsic property, but the artifact, what it counts for, it is a IP. Maybe the algorithm is intellectual property. So why protect information uh, intellectual property? The US Anglo law, they say the philosophical justification for granting the property rights is grounded in two different properties. Property is a type of natural right that should be granted to individuals for their creative efforts. And of course, property rights are social constructs designed to encourage creating and invention. Is computer software an IP? Of course, software is not a fixed medium, but yes, it's a literacy. The coding is a literacy. So software code takes multiple forms: source code, object code, or executable codes or program codes. Because of conceptual models surrounding the nature of program code, the computer programs were not initially eligible, but now we can patent the programs. Software piracy, yeah, this is a big headache for the software security people. So software manufacturers, like mostly the Microsoft, you can see so many copies of their Windows or other like products, they've been copied and sold in the countries. Especially in Asian countries we found it more commonly seen. So the company is getting like millions of dollar loss because of this. Right, so that's I think it for today. So software is intellectual property and why we need to safeguard the software. So I think we can just write the program in such a way that it could be difficult to copy the program. Okay, so we can have a like validation checks in our applications. Only we know the master password. It's not stored in the any of the exe file. So like that, try to create application that is difficult to copy or duplicate. Okay.